This weekend I'll read it. Lynne and Michael, you are taking on a heavy yet joyous burden with becoming the first ordained integral ministers. This is an unprecedented time in human history. We are fairly rapidly moving toward the first tipping point that is truly integral. A tipping point is generally reached when the leading edge of evolution, in this case second tier integral, becomes 10% of the population. Right now it's around 5%. When the leading edge reaches 10%, its values tend to saturate the culture. So think where you are right now. When, for example, 10% of the population reached modern orange, there were the French and American revolutions, the rise of representative democracy, the end of slavery, etc. When 10% reached postmodern green, there was the entire revolution of the 60s, the rise of feminism, the rise of environmentalism, for example. Many developmentalists see integral teal reaching 10% within a decade or so. This will be monumental, since it will be the first stage and tier tipping point. We can expect to see values of inclusiveness, genuine holism, love, care, and consciousness permeate the culture, even though only 10% of the actual population reaches those stages. And this means we will need bona fide representatives of integral values to help draw out and elucidate them for the rest of the population. This is and will be one of your major roles, to represent, explain, and embody integral values for the population at large, while introducing as many as possible to their profound impact. The two of you are certainly well accomplished for this, and I know you are eager to do so. Let me simply add my love and respect for the both of you, and say that I'm sure you will uphold these values and these roles with perfect finesse and character. Allow me also to add my congratulations to the both of you and share your joy and delight in serving these roles. We are all supporting you and offering our true love and care. With all love and light, Ken.
Wow. Beautiful.
And this is the journey that you have just stepped onto today, along with us. We're going to see how this weekend goes. When we talk about integral evolutionary spirituality, what we're remarking on is the fact that our culture has changed so much. I taught high school for many years, and when I would be talking to the parents in back to school night, I said to them, you know, if you're worried about what your child will become after high school and college, forget about it. Because the jobs that they will eventually enter most likely have not yet been created. That's how quickly culture is moving. So we're seeing a culture that is moving at such a rapid pace, and I know some of you might be getting these emails about you're old if you remember dialing a phone, an actual phone, and picking up a receiver, which our children and grandchildren will not know anything about. It'll be in a museum, and they'll say, Grandpa, what was that? And you'll have to explain what life was like before the iPhone. Or the first, as Ken said, in just a few years. How does integral evolutionary spirituality manifest? How do we know its qualities? First thing is free consciousness. Your mind is free to go and be aware of radically inclusive things. There is no end to what our awareness can embrace. Talk about Daniel White light, talk about miracles, talk about subtle body healing. I'm working with an energy practitioner on the cellular level with the breast cancer. I mean, could you imagine this being talked about seriously a few years ago? And Centers for Cancer are now working with alternative methodologies. It's now the thing that's being done. A few years ago, the surgeons would have laughed at you. So the things that we are embracing become bigger and bigger and bigger. The next thing that integral evolutionary spirituality offers is more effective action. And for those of you who are interested in the business world, the organizational world, we know so much more now about effective. All right. At the same time that this integral spirituality is kind of leaking into the culture, what's developing is, Terry Patton calls it a new ecology of supporting roles. And that's all of us here. And that's why we developed the program. There really is not available any kind of organized place to come to learn how to facilitate this in all of our different ways. That's why we call it an ecology. The nurse enacts it in her domain, the actor enacts it in his domain, the psychotherapist in hers, and so forth. So how do we minister or mentor people so that we can assist them in their growth? Now,